YouTube, what is up? We are back with another video. Today we got some deads, we got some jumps, and we got some Bulgarians, and we're gonna finish up with some snatch balances to continue to get some snatch work in so we can hit that big PR with Tim Riley in a month in Texas. So let's put in some work, let's get after it, let's go. All right, we're gonna hit some sumo deadlifts to start today. Just building up that pulling volume. My fucking calves are brutally sore from those heavy pulls on those snatches on Monday, man. Just finishing that final pull, getting up into that position and actually like extending in that position, man, absolutely brutalized. Might be added to my S tier calf work. I already got big calves as is, so we don't have to do a lot of calf work for the physique, but man, I was shocked with how sore it was. We already hit 10 sprints today, I forgot to mention that. While the baseball boys were here, I was kind of warming up with the baseball boys, supposed to be coaching, but I just hype them up and then hit my sprints and start my workout. So it was kind of two birds with one stone approach their coaching philosophy, and I like it. But we hit 10 15-yard XLs today, and then we're gonna have fly 10s later in the week. We're feeling good right now. Let's get after this, let's go. All right, we'll finish up another warm-up set here. Then we'll get to our jumps. Today we got kneeling jumps to over hurdle, and then we got triple broad jumps, continuing to push those. Feeling pretty spicy on those. After this, we got a little bit quicker lift because we're gonna go climb for 2 hours tonight. I've been really loving the addition to climbing back into our program again. Just getting some little bit of movement in. Again, I talk about climbing like 2 hours of mobility on the wall, like hip mobility at the wall, just holding, getting in a bunch of awkward positions, adding a bunch of variability into your program. And any meatheads that have access, obviously I know it's like a pretty niche category of movement. It's pretty tough to get access to having a bouldering project if you don't have one. But if you do have one, it's a great addition to your program. And I think looking at those things as additions to your program, additions to the variability in your program is absolutely spicy and allows you to simplify a lot of the stuff that you do in here because you already get it taken care of, right? And I get the question a lot asking, what would you substitute out of your program if you're adding climbing in? And typically it's the question is like, what would you sub if you're doing this? What would you sub if you're doing this? And honestly, I think that's a losing mindset. There are definitely things that you can sub and definitely things that you can do, but I think once you start subbing things out in the weight room, most people are not consistent enough with those other habits, and then those things just get not done, right? So I think you need to keep your weight room program the same. Keep your training program the same. Keep everything here the same, and you're adjusting everything else other than your sport, obviously. I'm talking about more the washed up meathead kind of movers type approach to training, and have these things be additions and adjusting at that end rather than cutting stuff out on your program and then never actually getting it done, which I see happen a ton. I think people way overestimate the work that they get in doing other things, especially other things they're not super consistent in, right? I just hear it so many times with like guys that are playing pickup soccer or pickup basketball, like they don't have to do jumps, they don't have to do sprints because they're doing that. And then they do that like once every other week. And it's like, that's not the legit consistent training stimulus that you really want. It's not that it's not a stimulus, it's just that I think you should treat that stuff more as an add-on and less as subtracting stuff from here. I think a lot of times the weight room turns into this subtraction program until there's nothing left, except for meatheads that like already enjoy the weight room and do too much in the weight room, right? So like if you're not a guy that thoroughly enjoys the weight room, stop subtracting stuff from the weight room because then you're just not gonna get those things done. And it's probably the things that you need to get done that you're trying to skip. So I'm gonna climb tonight. We're not gonna cut anything out of our program. It's gonna treat it as more movement variability tonight, and I've been thoroughly enjoying that for the hips and just how the body's feeling. So let's get after it, let's go. Oof. 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 Woo. All right, then we got these kneeling jumps onto the pad over the hurdle. These are spicy, really like these. Jumping out of that deep tier position, getting a little vertical jump movement problem in. Let's get after it, here we go. Ooh, let's go. Ah, gross, come on. Ooh, let's go. Ooh, let's go. Let's hit one more here, feeling bouncy. Oh, let's go. All right, triple broad jumps, let's get after it. All right, then we got these triple broad jumps. Been liking the feel of these, but today I feel clunky as fuck with them. My feet are not responsive off the ground, so I'm hoping we clutch up and hit a PR here on these and pull something of our butt cheeks, because they've not been good so far today. Let's get after it, here we go. Oh, that was the best one so far today, let's go. Gotta perform when it matters. Let's get it. One more jump here. Oh, let's go. There we go. That was solid. way to finish the jumps. Let's get back to deadlifts. Let's get it. All right, let's get back to these semi-sumo deadlifts. We're not going full wide grip, wide stance here. Just a little bit of wide stance. Get that feel. I've got a nice little pull into those hips. We got a OVR bar tracker coming at the end of February. They're a little bit of back order, but same bar speed tracker that Will Rattel has. Welty talked me into getting one, and we're gonna play around with that when it gets here. Have a little bit of fun. Not totally set on the bar speed thing being an absolute game changer for everything, but I think it'll be fun. And another little metric to play around with. So just a little teaser there. We got that coming. Let's get after this. Here we go. Oof. 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 Woo. Let's go. Just listening to a podcast with Brian Callen on it, and I really like the quote he was talking about. He was quoting somebody else, so I don't really know the OG quote, but he was talking about how these Zen masters say you can never improve because the part of you that wants to improve is what needs improving. And I thought that was like an actual really fucking cool piece of knowledge. And it was something I was thinking about the other day on a little spirit walk. Whereas like the harder you hold on to something, the more you squeeze, the less you're able to hold on to something, right? And I think the more you try to artificially improve these things, the more you try to force your way through life, and I've definitely been in points in my life where I was doing that, less things actually materialize out of it, the less things actually happen in your life. And I think a big part of life and a big part of growth in life is understanding when you're on the path and when you're not on the path. And when you're on the path, everything becomes a lot less squeezy, everything becomes a lot less forced. And it no longer becomes this artificial way of leveling yourself up, but it becomes a way in which you're actually pursuing that which you're meant to pursue. It's such a weird thought process, but in general, I really like that thought. I really like that quote where the part of you that's telling you need to improve is the part in and of itself that needs to improve. And the more you try to feed that part of your ego, the more you try to feed that part of yourself, the less you're actually facing your weakness. And I think that's a lot of times the gym comes in the way of that for a lot of meatheads, where you're overemphasizing one singular part of your life to avoid every other part of your life. And it's not to say there's not power in this part of life and getting confidence in this part of life. I just think it's massively overdone. And I think a lot of times we don't really look at our weak points. We don't really look at the points we actually need to develop to become a better person, become who we're supposed to put here in life, right? So stop squeezing, start letting it happen. Let's go. Oof. 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 Woo. Let's go. All right, let's rip this. Let's go. Oof. 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 Woo. Man, that start position feels like dick. I need like 6-inch longer arms, and I would fucking love deadlifting. My God, let's go. We go off on a little meathead rant here, but I think, and it's not backed by the science, all right? So this is straight just my observation, what I'm seeing. But I think there is a massive benefit in keeping your young athletes out of pain as long as possible, not even for the factor that they're in pain, but strictly for performance. And this is gonna sound super obvious until we get to the point. But the inhibition factor that comes from somebody having pain with a movement is unbelievable. When you watch a young kid deadlift, they will just grab the fucking bar in the worst rounded position ever and just fucking absolute full velocity yank it up, and they're using 100% of their central nervous system to get that bar up, right? Like I've seen kids rip weight. They just technically have no ability to rip, but they're able to use 100% of their strength on it because they're not inhibited at all. And you see these same kids with their swing where they're just able to absolutely fucking swing out of their shoes because they have no pain and no memory of pain associated with those movements, right? And then as soon as you start to see a beat up athlete or an older athlete that has had pain with these movements, they start to inhibit right before, right? So they're starting to use 80% of their strength, starting to use 80% of their swing, 80% of their strength in a deadlift, 80% of their speed in a swing, because their body memorizes that pain. That body memorizes what happens when they do 100%, right? And I think if there is a way, obviously, this is all of our goals. It's just a little observation, and it's not something that's super practical, but if you can keep an athlete from having those inhibitions for as long as possible to where they're able to use 100% of their nervous system, you see some absolutely spicy fucking things go down in the weight room and on the field of play. I just think it's cool to watch those athletes, right? And then as athletes start to mature and get beat up a little bit more, you start to see those governors come on. I think the more we can keep away from those governors, the better. And I say that as I have a fucking massive governor on with these deadlifts. I deadlift like a little bitch. But as we get stronger, we're gonna eliminate those governors. So let's go, let's get after it. Here we go. Oof. 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 Woo. Let's go. All right, let's hit 1 to 2 sinkies here and then get some Bulgarians. Let's go. Whee! Let's go. All right, let's rip this. Let's go. Whee! All right, let's get to some Bulgarians before I pass the fuck out. Let's go. Good weight for today. Still ass at deadlifts, but we'll keep growing. Let's get it. After deadlifts, we got 4 reps each leg of these Bulgarians with the buffalo bar, and then we got some snatch balances, just working on that punch and overhead position, lockout position, building up these 2. Let's get after it. Here we go. Let's go. So I was asked a question in a Q&A. In a contact sport, rank these components in order of importance, right? We're talking about speed, stamina, skill, intelligence, strength, and power. And it's gonna go back to the thing I talked about a couple of weeks ago, where it's like, I think we're overthinking, like, oh, we gotta rank them, we gotta focus on the things. But you gotta develop all these fucking things, right? And you gotta realize what your limiting factor is when you step on the field and what the barrier to entry really is. Just like the CSCS is a barrier to entry to become a strength coach in the college sector, right? Speed, strength, power, those are gonna be barriers to entry to become a Division I football player, right? To step onto the field. Everybody's gonna be fast, everybody's gonna be big, everybody's gonna be explosive. And you need to be those 3 things to even just step on the field. Again, it's your barrier to entry. It's your barrier to like get your feet on the field. It's your barrier to entry to get to practice. So as meatheadish as it sounds like, you can't avoid those things, otherwise you can't step on the field. But that doesn't mean those 3 things are more important than the other things when it comes to technical and tactical components, when it comes to skill, when it comes to your intelligence on the field, right? Like those are the things that are gonna set you apart. And these are all skill sets that you need to develop, and that's why being an athlete is so stressful, is because you have a limited set amount of time with so many things that you need to get done. But I think when you hear me talk about the technical and tactical components, it's because everybody's big, everybody's strong, everybody's fast at the Division I level, except those that aren't, right? And so then the technical and tactical components don't apply to those people because you're not even meeting the barrier to entry. But again, all of these things can be developed concurrently. You don't have to become just big, faster, stronger. You can become a smarter player that knows where they're supposed to be and understands the cognitive components of the sport. And an athlete that's able to be adaptable, right? Like these things are all applicable and all trainable at the same time. And I think to become a great athlete, you need to pass that barrier to entry of becoming an explosive freak of an athlete, while also developing the skill sets that set you apart, right? And again, the things that make you different are the things that make you different, whether it is your ability to read a play, whether it is your skill set of being able to throw a ball a certain way or catch a ball a certain way, right? But that doesn't discredit barrier to entry to actually get into those positions in the first place, right? You can catch every single ball one-handed behind your back in the most insane way, but if you can't get open because you're slow as fuck, it doesn't matter, right? So all of these skill sets need to be developed at one time. And again, as I've mentioned millions of times, the easiest way to do that is to concurrently develop all of these skill sets while you train, and then really let the sport dictate where you need to be sport specific, where you need to spend your extra time, right? So we're developing all of these skill sets concurrently, and then you're spending your extra 2 hours a day that you have on whatever it is that's holding you back, whether it's reading the playbook, whether it's more of a reactive agility type thing, whether it is just being able to pass the ball further or catch the football better, right? Because again, you have that same skill set of a completely freak athlete that can't catch the football, and that does you no good either, right? So you need to develop all these things together, and I would not list the importance. I think the importance is very individually based off where do you struggle, what do you suck at when you step on the field. And I think the easiest way to figure that out is to cross that barrier of entry so you can actually step on the field and figure out what those skill sets that you struggle at are, and then we can spend our time developing those skill sets while maintaining and working on these other things concurrently, right? So not a magical answer there, but it's something that I think a lot of athletes overthink about. They spend too much time in one rabbit hole without realizing that some of it's just the barrier to entry and the other thing are what sets you apart, and they all need to be developed together. So let's get after it, let's go. Let's go. All right, we got a couple more sets here. In between every set of here, we got 5 snatch balances. We'll be just ripping them back and forth. I'll record the last set of snatch balances. Snatch balances are feeling fucking amazing. I really like that feel of punching. K-Dot gave that cue of push, jump, punch, and that punch piece, getting that down in the snatch bounce feels really, really nice, and I really gotta emphasize that in my snatches on that turnover, because they're feeling really good here. So we'll keep building those up, keep ripping these Bulgarians, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, last set here, and we'll get to our last set of snatch bounces, and then we got some hip mobility to finish, and we'll get out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Feeling spicy there. My ass is gonna kill me tomorrow. Woo. I might have to go full Oli and get some crash pads, some high crash pads / blocks to be able to drop this off of, do my snatch bounces, because that shoulder is fucky catching this bar back. But these feel really spicy, and I want to build these up. These actually feel like I'm an athlete in my snatch. So let's get after them. We got 5 of them here. Probably last set here, unless it's feeling amazing, then we'll add some weight and send it. Let's go. Oh, let's go. Well, I'll do one more set there. Shoulder's feeling a little cranky on that catch, but I like to feel these. Do one more heavy set, send it on the last set. Then we got one hip mobility thing, then we'll get out of here. Let's go. All right, this is gonna be an absolute send. But if the shoulder holds up, I think we got this for 5. If we can't get it for 5, we'll get it for 3. If we can't get it for 3, we'll get it for 1. If we can't get it for 1, we might cry in our car. We got Twin Sick Electric Love remix on. If you guys haven't heard that on SoundCloud, fucking throw that on for your next PR. Let's get after it. Let's go. Ooh. Come on. Ooh. Come on. Oh, come on. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. Get to some hip mobility, get out of here. All right, then we're gonna finish up with this little hip mobility deep tier hops here. I like finishing any lower body workout with some hops, just a little flush. Deep tier hops are gonna be a little bit more hip mobility based, hip strength based. I think anytime that you can start bouncing in these deep squatted positions, you're gonna get some spice and some stim in there that is well needed for many athletes. You start bouncing on it, no pause, let's go. We're going in and out, hands on the ground when our feet are wide. So we're gonna go here to here, bouncing in and out. We got 2 minutes of bouncing, let's go. Woo! Little break, one more set, holy shit. Oh my God. Holy shit. 30 seconds left. Oh my God. Holy fuck. Don't let anybody tell you 2 minutes is not a long time. Oh, God damn, my hips are on fire, my quads are on fire, everything hurts. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood. Holy fuck. Hips are on fire, holy fuck. Let's go, lock in, let's go climb. Whew.